I have heard a lot about a no kings protest going on. No kings. No kings protests are going on everywhere. And I have to be honest with you, I don't have time to focus on these little silly things. And they are silly. And let me tell you why. Regardless of what stance you have on this, whether you're for it or against it, it's fucking silly. I saw them protesting outside maybe 3 days ago. And I've seen them protest before, especially in the city, downtown area. They've been everywhere. What exactly are they talking about? No kings. No kings. If they really cared about not having a king, then they wouldn't just protest. Our government, if you really, really think about it, doesn't mind if you protest because it doesn't affect the outcome of anything. You can bitch and you can moan, but our government is going to continue along its path of human destruction, if you will, and it's going to disintegrate our values until we have nothing left. You can cry all you'd like about Donald Trump, whether you like him or whether you don't like him. You could cry about this war, this nonsensical war that we're going into to fight alongside a country that hates us and is stealing from us. And I'm talking about Israel. Make no mistake, I say it how it is. With me, you get what you get, and that's it. They don't care. They do not care if you protest because you're not taking action. They allow you to protest. They don't allow you to do more gregarious things, things that will actually work, things that will put a cog in the machine. Try not paying your taxes. How about that? Try not paying your taxes. If you're not happy with the government and the government isn't giving you their promise to you of looking out for your best interest and you feel like you're not being represented, then do not pay your taxes. Don't do it. See how far that goes. All I'm saying is that the government doesn't care. These protests are absolutely useless. No matter what side you're on, they're useless because they don't allow for change. They don't twist the government's arm into changing anything. And I don't even know what these protests are about. Apparently, they're no kings, which for the record, we don't have kings. It's more of an oligarchy. You want to know what the real kings are? They're the corporations that big up these politicians like puppets that they can pull from. They pull the next puppet, they stick their hand up its backside, and they work it. They work it, they work it, they work it, whether it be in the Senate, whether it be in the Congress, whether it be the President of the United States, local and national. They work it. That is the problem. And so protest all you'd like. I dare you to protest. I don't care. All you're doing is offending people that are trying to get to work in order to feed their families. If you really want to inflict pain upon the people that have wronged you, then you have to hit them where it hurts. And where does it hurt? Monetarily. Say that you're not going to do X, Y, and Z. Instead of just protesting and shouting, which does nothing. It's like having a screaming child at a restaurant or at a supermarket when they don't get a toy. It does absolutely nothing but aggravate everyone around you. So it's not effective. It doesn't work. These No Kings protests don't work. And to be quite frank, I don't even know what they're protesting. I don't know if it's because humans have lost their way in America and they just need to latch on to something. They need to grab something in order to feel real again. They had women's suffrage. They had this. They had that. They had civil rights. And now we have nothing. We have nothing left. What are we going to bitch and complain about? We have nothing left. I think there's a lot to complain about, but I think that it is totally misguided and misled with these protests because these protests don't work. They just piss people off that you should be trying to get on your side. If we all look up to the government, we can all see that they are nothing but corrosive and corrupt individuals. All of them. I don't care if it's Donald Trump, George Bush, or Barack Obama, Joe Biden. I don't care. They're all the same. Have you guys not noticed that? Does it take you? Do you have some sort of amnesia where you don't realize what happened 4 years ago, 8 years ago, 12 years ago, 16 years ago? 20 years ago. It's the same thing over and over again. They promise you something, they do not deliver on that promise. They say, oh, sorry guys, things have changed. If you vote for me again, then I promise you, this time I'll come back and I'll actually fix it. I've learned my lesson. I'm so sorry. And then if you do vote him in, shit, sorry, things have changed. Try again. No luck this time. Try again. That's the problem with America. America isn't owned by people like you and me. It's owned by the people at the very tippity top of our capitalistic system. And I love capitalism, but capitalism is broken when you could do things like this. Now, you might think I'm like a socialist or something. I'm not. I consider myself to be a Republican. I just don't like how the American people are being absolutely destroyed. All of America is being destroyed. You know, I went to the grocery store just the other day, and for a couple of groceries, it was $100. I thought to myself, if I was a single mom and I had 2, 3, 4 kids, even one child, how would I pay? How would I pay? This is all just a joke to me. It's became nothing but a joke because it's obscene. It's absurd. It's ludicrous how they're allowing this to happen. And they're not allowing this to happen. They planned it to happen. They planned it to happen. They're just grinding away at you until there's nothing left. They're stealing from you. Ask them where their gold is. What's up with our money, guys? What's going on with our money? That's what we should be asking. They don't want you asking the real questions. They want you focused on the individual person, and that's why the No Kings protests are ridiculous and stupid. I get the idea, but they're stupid. Let's not go after the individual person because the person can be replaced. Other people will spout out better ideas and more grandiose thoughts, and they'll act like they're on your side, and then they will screw you over for the next 4 years. So instead of attacking the person, let's instead attack the system. If you honestly give a shit about America, or do you just want to go protest and say that you're good because you're a trans woman and I support all these people here that make my life so much better. I love them so much. Are you just trying to find a purpose? Or do you actually want to invoke change? Because if you want to invoke change, then what I mentioned throughout this video is exactly how you do it. And if not, then nothing's going to happen. You can scream until you lose that gay little voice of yours, and nothing is going to happen. I'm telling you, nothing's going to happen. So, if you want to know my thoughts about the No Kings protest, then whether or not you asked or not, you now know them. So let me know below. Have you seen these? Have you seen the uprising of these? And furthermore, who is paying for these? Because they are obviously, I think it's the government. I think the government is putting these on in order to alleviate some of the tension within our society. They say, okay, go yell. Yeah, be mad at that guy. Just don't do anything that would actually invoke change. That's what they say. I think it's the government that's putting these things on. And it's real people out there. Some of them might be actors, I don't know. But for the majority, I think that at least the smaller ones are real people. They're just brainwashed because the government feeds things to Facebook, feeds things to X, and they say, here's what you need to do. If you're upset at the government like we are, then you need to go outside and protest. And it actually is the government that's orchestrating this entire thing. Because they know that the second you put down the microphone and put down the megaphone, you will pick up the pitchfork, and they do not want the pitchfork, and so they allow you to have the microphone. That's the truth. If you agree with me, let me know below in the comments. And furthermore, if you really want to invoke change, remember this: hit them where it hurts.